Okay, good day to all of you. Welcome to the database session. My name is Dalila Husnayonardi and I will be your instructor for today. So we will start off today's lecture with definition of database, the importance of database, excuse me, designing basic database in AppLab, and then I will show you how to create your own database in AppLab. So data is any information or a fact that can be used as a basis for calculation, reasoning, or for discussion. So for example, we have a person or an individual right here. This person would have her name, her gender, her age, her date of birth, and her address. These are all data. So if you have your passport, you also have data over there, and then each passport has a unique number that identifies as you. So another example of data is in school. So in school, again, you would have your name, maybe your student ID, and then which classes that you are taking, and then who's your academic advisor or who's your homeroom teacher. So these things are called data, which will then be stored in the form of database. So the data can be in any form, and it can also be stored in many different tools or in many different software. So one example on where you can store your database is on a spreadsheet. So a spreadsheet is a computer program that can capture, display, and manipulate data. So it is arranged in rows and columns that create a grid of cells. Each cell holds a single item of data, and an example of this would be Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. So this is an example for a sales information of an online store. So we can see on the bottom table right here, we have name, and then we have product, we have the quantity, we have date, and we have address. So each one cell, so this one single box right here is called a cell. One cell will contain one piece of data. And then here we have, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page, if you go down or vertically, this is called a column. And then horizontally is called a row. So we have name. So this one is Anna Jones, and her product is a dress, and she needs two pieces of dress. And then the date is 18th of July 2022, and her address is on excuse me, 38 Henry Street. So this is probably when her product will be sent to her. So a database is a way of storing those information before that you've seen in this previous example right here in an organized and a logical way. So it is designed to store, manipulate, and retrieve information. So most schools now would have their own database that at least store the subjects that are offered, students' names, ID, the date of birth, their address, their previous school as well. So if you have middle school and if you have a high school, then sometimes they would store the data on your previous school, and then possibly also your parents' names as well. So the primary difference between a normal spreadsheet with an integrated database is that how the data is stored and manipulated. who can access the data, and how much data can be stored. And databases are very useful in many different scenarios for storing data. So typically a database is used when different sets of data needs to be linked together. So for example, students in school will need to be linked with their grades of their respective subjects, customer records and sales information, patients and doctors' records. So each doctor would have different sets of patients and they would need the data. Transactions between different bank accounts. So for example, you have a HSBC account and then you took money out from an ATM of, let's say, OCBC Bank, then there will need to be a link between these two different databases. And then taxpayers and the income tax payment. Oops, sorry. Now I will show you how to create your own database in AppLab. So this is one example of what we will be doing today. And then there will be a homework based on this. Okay, so now I will show you the AppLab. Okay, so I'll rename the project first. Database. You can rename it to anything that you want. This is what I'm going to rename it as. And then now, usually we are here. So I believe you now know how to create a button and an on-click event. So we go to design. We will drag a button to your screen. I will change the ID to button submit. And then I will change the text to submit. Okay. Okay, you can make it bigger or smaller if you want. It doesn't really matter at this point. And then what my program will do is that it will receive an input. So it will receive my name and it will receive my school's name and then send it to the database. So we can choose this part right here, the text input. And then we drag it to the middle of the screen. So now I'm going to make this ID as TXT, which is short for text, TXT name. And then I will create another one that will receive the school's name. So TXT again, school name. Okay, so however you can name it however you like, this is what makes sense to me. Okay, and then right after we've designed this screen, we can go to the top left hand. This is my left hand corner. So you have design right here, and then now we will go to data. So we click on data, and then on your right here, we can create a table name. So I'm going to make it as student and then underscore list. Then we click add. So now you have a table that will store whatever data that you put on screen. Okay, now we will create a column. So since we have two, so if we look here, we have two text input. So we must have at least two columns that will correspond with these two text input. So the first column, I will rename it to student name. And then you can add another column by clicking on the plus sign right here. We can rename this as well. And then I will rename it to school name. Okay, so now we can enter any data directly. So for example, right here, I will put my name. And then my school's name is Shahwala. I can do that. However, what we would like to do is that we would take data from the screen and then we send it into this table. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So now we go to code. Okay, I will redo everything. In the toolbox, I believe you've learned how to do on event. So now we choose this. So this is execute the callback code when a specific event type occurs for the specified UI element. So we choose this, we drag this on the screen. So now you have two input. So we have to find out the ID of this button. So I name it as button submit. So you can see here, this is button submit. You click on it. And then we create variables. So right here we have two variables. I'm going to name these two variables the same name as I have on my table. I do that so that I remember which one is which. So I will rename the variable to student name and school name. Okay. So we go back to code. We rename this to, student name, and then the bottom one to school name. Then we assign these two variables with the property or with the value of the text input. So now we go to UI control, and then we can scroll down. Hold on. We can get this, get property, and then we drag this to the variable, next to the variable, and then we click the drop down. So the first one, this first text input is ID is txt name. So we click on that. Then for the next part, rather than you take the width, now what you take is the value inside of the text input. Okay, here it is. It's right under hidden, so it's value. Now you do the same for school name. Get property. Then you change the ID. So the second one is this text input right here is txt school name. Click on it and then scroll down to find value. Okay. Now, in order for you to check, so let's say, for example, you want to check the value inside, what you can do is that you can print it out into the console just for the sake of checking. So we go to variable, we go to console.log, and we can create a message. Name is student name. This is one, and then we can get another one. School name is. Okay, just to check if your program is getting the right, is receiving the right input. Okay, and then now we can try and check this first. We can do run. So let's try putting my name here. Yeah, I've put my name before. Let's put a different name. So let's put, let's say, Elizabeth Morris, and she goes to American High School. Okay, so let's submit this. So we can check that the program is receiving whatever that we are typing in these two text input. Now we want to enter these data into this table right here. So what we do, we go to data on the toolbox, which is right underneath the UI controls. Click on data. Since you want to add or you want to create a record, so this one row is known as a record. So you go to create record right here. So you drag this. You drag this right here. So you have to put the table name and then the value, and then variable that you want to inside of your table. So over here, I will change it. So if you don't remember your table name, you can go back to data, and then this is your table name, students list. So we type in students list here, underscore list. And then we would like to get the name and the school name. So right here is student name is equal to student name, and then you do another comma. Okay, can't seem to add another text input. So what I do, I will use this. And then what you do here is comma, school name, and then school name. Okay, we go again to show blocks. Okay, there's an error. Let me check. Instead of expected is really different. School. Hold on, let me check the error for again. Okay, let's try again. So here is the table. Sorry, excuse me. This is the table's name. So whatever table name that you have. And then right here, it should be the variable. So it should get something from here and then send it over to your database. So it should send name to student name, and then it should send school to school name. Okay, let's try this. So reset, and then I'll try entering a different number, sorry, a different name. Let's use Jane Doe, and then she go to City of Leeds School. So let's try submit this. So when you click submit, in the debug, it will show what name and then what school name. So let's check on our table. Right, okay. So as you can see, I have an extra 2 column. So it should be of the same thing. Here, we'll redo this. Reset again. Let's do it again. Run. We have Jane Smith. She goes to Barnaby High School. And then we click submit. We go to data. So it goes into the right column. So let me delete this. Okay, delete this as well. So right here is what the variable name is. So you have a student name variable here. And then in the next section, after these 2 dots right here, it should be the name of your column. So if you check the name of the column, my column name is the same as my variable name. So I do this so that I remember which one corresponds to which. You can have it differently if you want, but this is how I would do it, okay? So different people have different ways of doing so. And then right here, we set school name to receive whatever value is in the text input. And then it will go to the next column, which is school name. So I did something wrong before. Then in data, they added 2 extra columns manually. So let's try putting more data inside. So I will just reset and then let me run again. Let's make it to be a John Doe. And then she goes to Ralph Torresby High School. Then if we click submit, this is the data within the text input. And then we can see that we have a John Doe, and then he goes to Ralph Torsby High School. Okay, so that's how you add data into your table. Okay, I will now accept any questions regarding this. You will redo this all over again in the lab practice, so don't worry. Is there anything that you don't understand, or if you have any questions, please raise your hand and I will try to help you. Okay, no question. So I will repeat this one more time, and then I will teach you something else, and then I will explain your homework for this session. Okay, we start off with an empty screen. So we have an empty screen here. And then we go to the design. Is this button right here. And then since we want to receive input from the user, we use a text input. So okay, so we have the text input, and then we create an ID, which we can refer to, let's see, which we refer to later. So since this is for name, so we do txt student name. Okay, a placeholder, it's like you can type, let's say, enter your name. So this will make the user know, okay, I have to enter my name inside of this text input box. And now we would like to create another one that will receive the name of the school. So txt school name, and then enter your school name. Then we need a submit button. So we choose this. So you drag down, and I will make this to be txt submit, and I will change the text of the button to submit. If you want to make it nicer, you can change the size, you can change the color. This is depend on what you want. You can do this later on. However, I'm not going to do it now. I'm just going to show you how to insert this into your database. So now our user interface is done. We go to data, which is right next to design tab, and we make a new table. So we can make a new table right here. I'm going to make it as students list. So big S, big L, and then I'm going to add. So now this is my table. I will create two columns that will be corresponding to these two text input fields. Okay, so we go back to data. For the purpose of so that we can remember, I will make this into student name for the first one. So this first text input will correspond to this column, and then I will add another one. This second one will correspond to this text input right here. So student name and then school name. Right. So we can add this, and then let's say we can also add new data right on the table. Values like this. Okay, let me just clear table. Okay, mana? Oh yeah. So if we add a row, we can add another one. So let me just put let's say Jane Stacy, and she goes to Carnegie Mellon University. So you can do this manually, or we can do it from the screen right here. So we go back to code, and then now what we are going to do is we are going to take the input from the user, and then we enter it into this table. Okay, that's the goal of this program. So now what we do is that we create an on-click event, or when the user clicks submit, then it will send the data from the text input into the table. So we go to data, we go to UI control, we scroll up, and then we choose this function right here on event. We drag it to the workspace, and then we have to change the ID. So we have to remember what ID is submit. If you don't know the ID, or if you forget your ID, you'll go back to design, and then you know that is txt submit. Okay, you can also use this, and then you have screen one, you have txt, school name. Oops, sorry, I have to check. This is not supposed to be txt, it's supposed to be button. There you go, button submit, and the event is on click. And then now, in order for us to get whatever is inside of this text input, we create a variable. We go to data, we go to variables. We create two variables to correspond to two text input fields. So to remember, I will make the same exact variable name as I have in my table. Okay, you can name it whatever you want. However, this is how I do it. So I will have student name. Student name will correspond to this text input field. So what we do now is we go to data, and we assign whatever value inside of this text input field into the variable student name. So we go, we go to UI control, and then we go to get property. So drag this over here, and then choose the ID. So the ID for my first text input field is txt student name. So I click on this, and then I will get the value inside of the text field. So scroll down, so you choose this value. So now whatever is inside of this text input field, it will be stored in the student name variable. Okay, So now we do the same exact process for the next text input field. So I will name it as school name. And then I will also do get property, drag this, and then click on this drop down. And then now is txt school name, since this is the ID for the second one. And also the same, I will go get the value. So this is the value right here. Okay. Right after this, you can go ahead to create records. However, if you are like first-time programmers, you can check if the program is receiving the right data. So what you can do is you can print it in the console. So you go back to variable, and then you can choose console.log, where the message would be name, and then add student name, and then and then you add a space, and then you can add school name, okay, so we can check whatever is inside of the text input field. Right, so we can check this first. So we click run. So if I enter my full name, okay, we have already entered my full name. So let's enter someone else's name. We do Jane Smith, and she goes to Ralph Thorsby High School. And then you click submit. So it received Jane Smith, and her school name is Ralph Thorsby High School. So now we know the text input field is receiving these two data. And then now we can add these two things into the table right here. So now we go to data, which is right under UI control. And then if you scroll down, we have create record. So this function will allow you to add new record or to add a new row into your table. So you drag this right under the console. So you have to remember okay, let's start again. I will redo it again. So we go to create record, you drag this on into the here it have table name, and then here is your column name. So whatever quotation should be the variable that you have right here. Okay, so what you do now, if you don't remember your table name, you check on data. So my table name is students list. So I go back to code, and then this is students list. Okay, and then now this is for whatever that you want to put inside of your column. So if I go back to data, my column name is student name. So since it's a variable, I don't need the quotation. And then this one is whatever variable that you have here. So we want to assign the value on the first text input field into the student name column. So we change it here into student name. Okay, let's try if I do this, will it work? Okay, it does work. So this is corresponding to the first, so it links with the first text input field, and then school name for the second text input field. Okay, so let's reset this and then let's try this. So I use Jane Smith. Let's use a John now. So we use John Smith, and he goes to City of Bath High School. And then we click submit. And then now you can see John Smith, he goes to City of Bath High School. And then we go to data. And then now on the second row, if you look here, we have now the name of John Smith, in which he goes to City of Bath High School. So if we reset this again, let's add Jane Stacy. And she goes to Carnegie Mellon University. And if you click submit, you can see it's added directly from your text input field into the column name. Okay, and you can delete this as necessary if you want, and you can also edit and delete. Okay, so any questions about creating database? Okay, this is my code right here. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand and then I will help you, or you can leave the question in the chat box. Can I do data again? I think I've done it twice now. Kinso-ki, what's the problem? I can target the problem, but I cannot repeat it again. Okay, if you have any question. So this is the code right here. Everything is being recorded, so you can watch this session again later on YouTube. So we go to, for your homework, or for your exercise. So you do exactly as what I've shown you. However, you add a different input, the text input field. So you create a form in which it receives your name and then your age and then your teacher's name. So whoever teacher that you want in your school, and then you can choose your favorite color. For your favorite color, choose from a drop-down list. So you can make as many colors as you want in your drop-down list. Okay. I believe you have learned drop-down list from Miss Maya yesterday. Okay. And then everything is then stored into a table, something like this. All right. Any questions about the exercise or the homework? Okay. Okay, why do I, okay, there's a question from Rixa Pima Lazin. Why do you insert a record? So we create a record. So when you enter your school for the first time, then the school must create a new folder or a new file exactly for you. That was in the old days when everything was still paper-based. So nowadays, you do a new record whenever you open a new record, whenever you enter a new school. So for example, right after university, right after high school, if you intend to go to college, or if you intend to go to your Dah. Okay, Sonam Tiwamo, we have entered everything, but our name is not showing. Yeah, where exactly is your name is not showing? Is it not showing in the debug console, or is it not showing in the table? Okay, Tashi Penjori. Okay, hold on, let me check what's the fourth line. Right, okay. The fourth line is just a normal console, like what we have been. Is usually what I do if I want to check whatever that's entered into the text field is exactly the same. You don't need this if you're confident with your ability of programming. However, this is what I did when I started programming. So I know that my program is receiving exactly what I've typed inside, okay? You don't need this if you don't want to. Sonam, you can use run. So when you're done with create record, you can just click on run and then it will go on like before. Yes, no, you cannot. Should we have to add it separately in the table? No, the goal of this session right now is that you create a database. Sorry, you insert the data into the table based on the text input field. So if your data is not showing in the table, it's probably something to do with create record. So you have to check if the table name is exactly the same as the one that you have right here. And then you have the corresponding column name with the variable that you have created. Okay, so you have to check. Okay, e-learning is down. Even I can't check it. Okay, I can't even open e-learning at the moment. Right, if your name is not showing in the table, you have to check here. Okay, so you have to check here. So this side is for this student name. So this variable is assigned to the corresponding column name. Okay, so since we want to enter the text, the first text input value into the first column, so this is, you have to check over here. Maybe you didn't do exactly the same over here. Minimize, hold on, let me check. Right, so this is my code. Okay, any other question about, okay, sharing, ma'am, at the fifth call, why they input bubble name and school? I'm not sure what bubble name mean. So over here, if you check on, if you read the code, this is create record into the table of students list, and then add on the variable of student name to the column of student name, and then the variable of school name into the column of school name. Shewang Samdrap, if you want to add on another row of data, you just reset the same code and then you run it again, and then it will add on the row directly. Okay, if you want to add a column name, you just click on this plus sign right here, and then you can enter whatever it is that you want. Okay. Yes, Fadia, Camila, yes, you will be going to break room after this. Okay, Kinley, Punshaw, maybe you have to make sure that it has quotations. So if you look into my screen, every row has its quotation, okay? Yeah, Shewang Samdrap, you can also add a row just like this over here, like what I'm showing here. You can add this manually like this, but this is not the goal of today's lesson. This is something else that you can do. You can add on Jane Doe and she went to, and you have to make sure that it has quotation. And then you just click on add row on actions, then it will add on right away. If you want to add another row, you can also reset your code and then you run your code. So if I enter again, Susanna Smith, and she went to City of Leeds High School. And if I click submit, and then it will add on right away another row, okay? Okay, the lab assistants will give you the slide again. So this is the exercise or the homework for today. So you create something exactly the same like what we have done today. So you are expected to give 3 text fields. So 1, 2, 3. So 1 will be your name, second one will be your age, and the third one is your teacher's name. And then the fourth one right here should be a drop-down list with a list of colors, and then you choose your favorite color. And then you add all of this into a table, just like what I have shown you before. Right, this is the code. This is the code right here. The assistants will also help you again with this, so don't worry too much. Okay, any other question? Show us the coding for the 4th row. Okay, this is the 4th row right here. It's just a normal console, like what you have done before. And then to create a record is this one, the 5th one right here. Okay. Okay, any other question before we move? Sharing, okay, the 4th one, possibly you don't have the student name. I mean, possibly you might have referred to the wrong variable. So please check on that. When I run the code, the next table is not showing. Tashi Peldon, do you mean that when you run it and then you insert your name and then the school and you click submit, is it not showing directly to the table? Is that what you mean? Yeah, this yellow triangle is not an error, but it's a warning. Error is a red square, okay? Mine has this triangle, but it still can run. You see? So let's enter something here. Even if I enter anything, it will still run. Okay, so it's gibberish right here. You go to data and it's still working, okay? Okay, Kels, Georgie, I'll give you, hold on, let me check the time. Okay, we have 10 more minutes. You have 10 more minutes with me. Okay, the warning sign, I also have, I mean, you don't have to worry too much. If you hover, record is defined, but it's not called in your program. So this is a function, it's not being called anywhere in the program. However, this event or this program can still work, right? So if you go to data, everything is still in the data. Okay, so I will close my screen and then I think, was it Kelzang? Let me check. Yeah, Kelzang, Dorji, you can share your screen just to make so you're not very confused with what I do. Go ahead, please share your screen so I can see. Yeah, everyone, I'll wait. Yeah, Kelzang, Dorji, please share your screen now. Yeah, the e-learning is not working yet. Even I can't access the e-learning, so the lab assistants will send you the slide. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. Right, okay, let's see. Okay, so what's your problem, Kelsa? Okay, that's not showing. Go back to your code. Let me check your code. Okay, so I can see something wrong on your code already. So if you go to the 6th line, yeah, on your 6th line where there's the triangle, the yellow triangle, you know, on the purple curly brackets, you have student name, right? You have student name, and then you have the double dots, and then you have student name, comma. You're not supposed to have the quotation since that's a variable name. Can you see the quotation, the single quotation? Yeah, there you go. You have to delete that. Otherwise, your program won't recognize what you do. You're right. You were there a moment ago. Yeah, right next to the S, there's single quotation. Yeah, you delete that. And at the end of your code as well. Okay, and you delete the other one. Yeah. Okay, try run it now. You have to run it first in order to check. There you go. That's the one. Okay, try insert one more. You reset again to check and then run again. Okay, go check on your table. Okay, click submit again. Student name, school name. Okay, go back to your code. Let's check your code again. Student name, student name. Okay, now you realize. Okay. Submit again. Okay, no, you have to reset. You have to reset first and then run again. Okay, insert again. There you go. Okay, I hope that helps. Can you stop sharing your screen so I can share my screen now? Is that only your question, Kelzang? I hope it helps. Okay, the data data won't record. So maybe there's something that you did just like what Kelzang did just now. Yeah, so for example, maybe you still have the quotation, right next to your variable name, or maybe you did something wrong in the student list. So this have to be exactly the same with whatever table name that you have. So please check that first, okay? Yeah, Karma Yeshi, the lab assistants will resend the slide again, okay? So don't worry too much about this triangle, okay? If it's a square, a red square, so for example, something like this, if you have a red square, then this is an error and the program won't run. Okay, so if it's just a, if it's just a triangle, a yellow triangle, it's usually still okay. It's just a warning, okay? Okay, one of the lab assistants have sent you the slide. Any more questions before we move on to your lab session? Okay, so one of my lab assistants will now my table. Okay, hold on, let me show you my table. There we go, that's my table right there. So just a little bit of announcement, the last training will be rescheduled from Friday to Saturday on the 24th of September at 2:30 p.m. So it's GMT +7. You don't need a computer. There's no lab work on the final day of training. It will just be an interview session with an IT professional from Germany. So you can watch from your mobile phone on YouTube. Okay, so there's nothing on the last day. We don't have any materials. It's just someone who's in this profession will be talking about her experience working in IT. Okay. E-learning is still down. The lab assistants will send you the slide, and as usual, the attendance link will be sent by the end of the session. Okay. Yes, we still have another one tomorrow regarding database. Yeah, we still have a session all the way up till Friday. Okay, Kamaraj Gali. I don't know which part that's not working. You have to tell me exactly what you mean by that. Okay, the console. So this line right here, the fourth line, is just to check if the text input field is receiving whatever that's inside the text input field. Okay, so it's just to make sure. This is what I do. Okay, it's not necessary, but this is what I do. Okay, yeah, Kamraj Gali, I'm not sure which part of it that's not working. Okay, Durga Rai, the lab assistants will repeat and show you again how to create a record. Kinzang Wangdi, yeah, the lab assistants will show you again. Okay, come, I'll let you share your screen, but we really have to go to the break room right after you, all right? Hold on, let me stop my screen. Okay, go ahead, please. Okay, let me check. Okay, console student name, console.log. School name. Okay, I think on your fifth line, you don't need the name Alice. Everything else looks okay. On your fifth line, so on top of that line, you have name Alice. You don't need that. Just delete that, please. Right next to it. No, right next to it. You have name Alice. Yeah, that one. Just delete that. Just drag it back outside of your workspace. Okay. Text name school. Okay. Right, sorry everyone, it seems that our internet was not working. Okay, let me check your screen now. Okay, Kamraj, try to reset again. Click the button reset on your screen. Yeah, that one. Okay, and then click on data on top. Yeah, that one. Now try add and then click run on your yellow button right here. Yeah, that one, click run. And then enter your name and your school name. Okay, try submit. Okay, yeah. Okay, Kamraj, please check your table name again. I see that this table over here is student list with a capital L. However, your table name is with a lowercase l. Right? Can you see your table name is next to visualize data on your left? Not that one, not that one. Table name. So there's a button, visualize data, and it's called student list. Next to it, on your left. No, you don't need to click on it. On your left. There you go. That's your table name. No, you don't need to copy and paste it. All you have to do is just change your table name in your code. Go back to your code. Click on code. Yeah, that one. And then on create record on your 6th line. And then, yeah, just change that L to a lowercase l. There you go. Okay, reset it again. Run it again. Okay, show data side by side. Sorry, do the data first so you see. Okay, click on data. There you go. It's right there. Okay. So it's also a note for everyone. It's very case sensitive. So you have to make sure that if you do a lowercase name, then you have to also insert a lowercase name. Okay, so now you will move to, do we need to put school name in the data table? Deki, Choden, this is just an example, but for the exercise, you don't need to. Adding row first column, and it's just adding row by system. Sange, Rinchen, my table is giving different output. It's adding row and column. Right, this is probably because you're not corresponding. So it's adding something automatically. Okay, I'll help you in a minute. So everyone else, please join the, yeah, you're welcome everyone. Please join the break room. Okay, Sanjay, is it Sanjay or Sanjay? I hope I say it. No, Sanjay. Yeah, sharing children, you can join the break room now. I have someone was asking a question, so I'm just going to help him or her right away. So Sanjay, Rinchen, probably why your table is adding another column is that you don't have, I mean, you are assigning you are assigning the variable to a different column name. So you have to make sure these columns names are exactly the same with the one in the database. Okay, so I have student name here, I have school name here. So in my code is the student name and school name. Okay, okay. Yeah, and please join the break room now. Okay, thank you everyone. Okay, sharing, this is my data page. Okay, I think there's something wrong with our internet on our side. So maybe it's not giving you the feedback right on time. Yeah, please wait for the breakout room, okay? My assistants are working on it. Okay, sharing, which part do you want me to explain about my data? I'm not sure what is it that you don't understand. And sharing Dorji, yeah, Aksa, one of my assistant, is still assigning people onto the breakout room. Dawa Norbuya, you can, I think you can select. So you should be able to choose whichever break room that you want, if I'm not mistaken. It's just probably giving out a slower feedback to you, to your side of the Zoom. Tashi, I run the code. I'm getting output as not defined. Yeah. Okay, can you show me your screen so I can try and help you? Let me stop my screen first. Okay, can you show your screen? Tashi, hold on, what's your last name? Tashi Peldon? Let's see your code, Tashi. It's on top. Go to your code, yeah. Okay, let's see. Student name. Okay, so on your 6th line, on your create a record, okay, so you have student name and then you have the 2 dots, right? And then you have student name. You have a single quote that is not supposed to be there. So delete the single quote. Yeah, that side, yeah. Delete that single quote. Okay, Tashi, you have to delete that. Otherwise, your program will not send out the data to your table. Yeah, that part. Right. Okay. Now let's go back to your data so we can check your table. Is your table the same name? Okay, so you can see here, Tashi, your student name, everything is in capital letters. And school name is also, everything is in capital letters. So that's why everything is undefined. Okay, so you go back to your code, Right, so you can see on your 6th line, student name, double dots, and then you have student names, right? This student name should be the same, it should have the same format as in your column name. Do you get what I'm saying? Right, okay, Tashi, I think we have to change, okay, go back to your data. I don't think you get what I mean. Okay, go back to your data. Yeah, go back to your data, Tashi, please. Okay, so you have a column student name. No, check your table first. Check your table. You have a student name table, right? And then there's a gear that looks like a flower. Click on that and then rename it. Don't use capital letters. Use lowercase. Use small letters, I mean. No, don't use that. Use lowercase, small letters. Rename, yeah, delete that. Okay, use lowercase. There you go. Do also the same. Okay, I'm not sure why you're, okay, try to school name, but all small letters. Okay, enter. Okay, now delete the last column. Delete the last column. Yeah, delete that. So you have school name and you have student name. Okay, go back to your code. Go back to your code. Okay, student name, school name, and school name. Okay, let me check. Can you go to your third line, Tashi? There's a warning sign. Let's check what the warning sign is about. Yeah, hover on the warning sign. Okay, I think I get where you did wrong. Can you check the ID for your second text field? What's the ID for your second one? No, okay. Okay, I think you didn't name your text field. Okay, Tashi. So can you go back to design? And then, yeah, click on that. So you have school name for your second one. What's the first one? Can you click on the first one? Can you click on the first one, Tashi? Let's do this in order. No, you should have TXT. You should have TXT in the beginning so you know which one is which. Right, so you see the first one is not school name. So you should have TXT name or something else. Yeah. Tashi, you can slow down. I will accompany you. I think you did something wrong. Okay, can you check what's the warning on the first line? Okay, you have to check what submit, what's the ID for submit. I don't think it's name, Tashi. You don't have to rush. Can you check you can just check from design, what's the ID of your button? Go back to design. And then click on the button. Yeah, click on, no, not that button, the submit. So you can see the ID is button 1. So you have to assign that on the on click. The first thing that you have to do is you have to click on button 1. There you go. And then check on your student name. No, you don't need to go on the 5th line. You have to go to the 2nd line first, Tashi. And then check on the ID for the first text field. Go scroll down. Because I think the name is not TXT school name. So that's your problem. You're using different IDs and then you try to send something that is not there. Okay, Tashi? Are you still with me? You don't need to move to data first. You just have to fix your code right now, Tashi. Okay, so check on variable student name and then you have get property. No, you don't need to go to design, Tashi. Just stick to your code. Stick to your code. Go to the 2nd line. Right, you have the 2nd line and then you have get property. And then there is an inverted triangle. Click on that inverted triangle. Yeah, click on that. Click on that, Tashi. Okay, so you have to check. I think your ID is name. Click on name. There you go. And then on the third line, you do the same, get property, and then click on that triangle and then txt school name.
And then for the placeholder, I will.
Yeah, click on that. Okay, now try run your code. No, you don't need to click on data, just try run your code. Okay, enter your name. Okay, submit, go to data. There you go, on the fifth line. So you have to make sure that if you don't know your ID, you can just check on design.
Okay. So for the third text input, you can change.
Okay.
Text. This text underscore teacher. Okay.
Okay, Tashi, you can stop sharing this. Okay, Jeremy, Dorji, I think something wrong with Zoom. That's why you can't choose your own room. Okay, so you have to be assigned manually by, sorry, excuse me, by the lab assistants.
You can choose whatever color you want. I will select red, and then blue, white, white, green. So for the drop down, same ID drop down, I will change to drop down, just drop down. So you're not confused when you choose the ID in the code. Okay. And then for the button here, the ID I will change to buttons.
Right, Tashi, if it's okay, can you stop sharing your screen and enter a breakout room? All right, thank you.
And then
Yandon Tokyo. Okay, what's your question?
You can get the text for this.
Hello.
I mean,
My
text.
question is, could the dates be extended a bit for the assignments? Because I have a bunch of students here.
Okay, what's your
And
question?
And for the
can the dates for submission of the assignments be extended beyond this Friday?
Okay.
Because I have my students here and we're actually a boarding school.
Oh, so they're all out of boarding school, is that it?
for the color.
No, they are in the boarding, but the thing is, I live outside of the school campus, and
Mhm.
because I'm monitoring them, I leave a little by like 7 or your time 6 p.m. I leave, and but they're not able to complete the assignments on time, especially the user face projects. So for that reason, I was wondering if you could give an extension in the assignment time. I saw
Okay,
that it was for the 23rd, but if you could give us another maybe until Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, hold on. Let me speak to the other lecturer. Just hold on 1 second, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Monday should be fine. Is that okay, Miss Yandon?
Monday, what time?
Any time. It should be fine as long as it's still Monday. So it should be 23:59, just before midnight.
27. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you
Is that
so
okay?
much.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Okay.